Hey everyone, it's Eric with Z Squared Gaming. I have another pickup video for you here. This is for the month of June 2025. Sorry, I had to kind of think about it. I'm kind of filming a couple of videos right in a row here just to get them filmed and into my computer type of thing to start editing them. So yeah, this is for June 2025. I'm just, again, just like all my other videos, gonna hop right into it. Hopefully I'm not too close for you guys. Hopefully I'm in frame. I'm trying just a little bit different format with you guys being a little bit closer. So I'll just get right into it here, and I will actually start with a, of course, just like all my other videos, I'm gonna start with the games that are going to be for sale and or amiibo. So this is the Daisy, Wedding Daisy. Picked this up for clearance at a Target, and kind of was surprised that they were on clearance, but I think they were just kind of, they brought them back for, I want to say actually the Switch 2, if I remember correctly, and then clearance them out not too long after the Switch 2 came out. So there was that, and then I'll get right into the games here. I'll just continue on with the Nintendo, since the amiibo is Nintendo. And I got, it looks like, two GameCube games that I already had, so these will be for sale. Battalion Wars, and then the Chronicles of Narnia. Right, and then a bunch of Wii games here. 101 in 1. This is the Party Mega Mix. So there's a couple of others. I thought I needed this one, but it was one of the other ones that I needed, so I think I got that at a thrift store, so it wasn't very much. Call of Duty 3, Lego Indiana Jones, The Original Adventures, Just Dance 2, actually kind of be out of frame myself here, and then Carnival games. So that's all of them for the Wii. I do have a couple of Wii U games, Lego Dimensions, that was from a thrift store. This next one was from a thrift store as well, Sing Party. So nothing too crazy there. I did pick up a few Switch games that I already had. Actually, I think some of these might be going to my brother. Just remembered that I've mentioned this previously, that I have actually got a Switch for my brother and his family, and I've been kind of, giving them as presents for birthdays and Christmas and that kind of stuff. So I think I might give this next one to them, which is Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Picked this one up at a garage sale, so that was pretty sweet. I don't remember what I paid for it. And then these next two I picked up in a lot at a garage sale, and kind of surprised that they were in there, but it was a pretty nice lot. I'll talk about it a little bit more because I got a couple of other games, and then actually a Switch along with the games here. So I already, of course, had these, Super Mario Odyssey, and then a sealed copy of Pokemon Violet, which I already had. So this will actually be for future trade bait and or possibly selling, because, of course, it's Pokemon. It might be expensive in the future, especially with it being sealed. So. Alright, I will get right into the Xbox games here, and let me actually just kind of move some around here, create some room for me. Alright, and I'll just get right into the, looks like Xbox 360. I don't have any original Xbox games that I got for doubles for June here, so just get right into it. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Don't recall where I picked all these up. They were either likely thrift stores or garage sales. Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Crackdown, Darksiders, I've heard that's actually a pretty good game, Halo 3 Platinum Hits, Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. Quite a lot of 360 games here. Looks like a combo pack of Lego Batman the video game and Pure. And then Lego Pirates of the Caribbean the video game. Medal of Honor Limited Edition. Medal of Honor Warfighter Limited Edition. Mercenaries 2 World in Flames. Got still the security sticker on the bottom. And then a limited edition copy of Battlefield Bad Company 2. And then a copy of Bad Company Battlefield. Or Battlefield Build Bad Company. Battlefield 4, so it looks like a lot of Battlefields. I think a bunch of these were from a garage sale, so of course must have been a kid that liked Battlefield. So, and then Madden 17, FIFA Soccer 12 with a pretty beat up case, and then might actually have this in with my regular games too, but NASCAR 21 Ignition. This is sealed. Must have been with from a clearance at Target or Walmart. I think I mentioned in the last video that I do also sometimes get sealed games at garage sales, but that's not as common as, of course, getting them at Target or Walmart on clearance type of thing. So, all right, getting into PlayStation. PlayStation 2 looks like to start with. I have 2, 3, and 4. So it looks like God of War Greatest Hits, Namco Museum Greatest Hits, SSX 3 Greatest Hits. And then into the PS3 games, Need for Speed The Run, Limited Edition. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. I think I picked this one up at Another Man's Treasure. This is actually starting to kind of go up in price. Might have to do with the movie that's coming out that Henry Cavill was going to be starring in. At least that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I think I read it on Facebook, so of course not everything's true on Facebook, but thought that was pretty sweet that he's really into Warhammer 40,000, and it would be cool if he actually was in the game itself. So same went with Witcher. When he was doing that series, he was actually big into the game, and so it's kind of cool that he was able to be the star in it, but then of course someone else took over. Continuing on here, Batman Arkham Asylum Greatest Hits, Little Big Planet Game of the Year Edition, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, Battlefield 3 Limited Edition, and then some PS4 games, Black Ops 3, Battlefield 1. I do remember that all these PS4 games were at a garage sale. Red Dead Redemption 2, and then Just Dance 2020. Gonna do some moving around. I also just realized that my phone is not plugged in, so I'm gonna plug that in real quick. I may actually cut a little bit because if I makes too much noise or whatever, so just give me a second here, and I'm gonna move some stuff around and then also plug in my phone. All right, I'm back, and like I said, hopefully this angle and closeness is working out here. So let me get the first stack that's going into the collection, and I'm going to actually start with PlayStation this video. And I have, it looks like, 2 PSP games. These were both from GameStop, which was kind of odd because you hardly ever see PSP games at GameStop. So I don't think I paid more than market value. I certainly never do that, especially if I'm at a GameStop or other video game store. But I might have paid up for these, but just always fun to add to the PSP collection. So first one is Juiced 2 Hot Import Nights. And then, funny enough, Pimp My Ride. So a couple of fun ones to add to the collection. And not quite sure where I'm at with the PSP collection. I must be getting there, but I think I have a lot of the expensive ones that I don't have, so that might be a little bit harder to find and finish out. But I'll have to look, and maybe I'll put in the percentage right here of where I'm at. We'll see if I do that or not. I'm going to try to. I'm using a new editing software, so it'd be nice to kind of get familiar with some of the things there. So, like I said, I may add right there the percentage that I have of the PSP collection. So, all right, getting into the normal consoles here, I have one PS1 game, and that's FIFA Road to World Cup 98. Now, if I remember correctly, this one actually has a little bit of value. I'm guessing it might be the last FIFA game on the original PlayStation. So that was pretty fun to grab. Do not recall where I picked it up. So. All right, next one here is a PS2 game, 25 to Life. And can't remember, this one might have a little teeny bit of value, nothing crazy. Looks like it's supposed to have a bonus disc, a CD inside. Don't recall if that is actually in there. And it looks like it is. It is complete, but it looks like the cover art is a little beat up. Might have a little bit of water damaged kind of as well, but I may have to just swap out that case, see if that cleans up a little bit. Then PS3, I have some PS3, some PS4, and some PS5. So I think I listed through them and didn't say PS5 before. So, all right. So next one here is Little Big Planet 3. Iron Man 2. I'm kind of surprised I didn't have that one. And a pretty beat up cover art of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Can't remember where I picked this up. This might have actually been a GameStop, and they might have actually been slipping on that because I think a lot of times GameStop actually will price their games at like a loose copy, even if it has the cover art and the manual. So I might have gotten it there. Don't recall. It might have been a thrift store. I usually don't try to pick up games that have cover art that damaged. You can actually probably see it in the video here. And the back is pretty beat up too. That might be a little bit harder to find, or see, I should say. So I know that's a little bit of value. PS4 games, picked these up at a garage sale, so they're cheap, probably $1 or $2 each. NBA 2K23, and then NBA 2K24. Now this one might actually have a little bit of value to it because it's the Kobe Bryant edition. With him passing away, I know sometimes that makes games go up in price some. So, all right, and then at GameStop, I did pick up Doom: The Dark Ages for the PS5. I did want to play this just because I haven't actually played the other Doom game, so maybe I should play that one first. Let me know down in the comments if I should do that. I don't know if it's like a prerequisite to play this game or not, but this was at GameStop, so I paid up for it. But I think I mentioned in my last video that I have been trying to pick up PS5 games to play because I have a new PS5. So I just thought I'd pick that one up and probably play it pretty soon here. So, and then I did pick up the remastered deluxe edition of The Thing. This is in a bigger box. I'm not quite sure what it actually has for extra kind of things in here. There we go. Deluxe edition contents. The Thing remastered game, steelbook case, poster, Blake ID card, and so on patches. A lot of stuff to have in this little box, but still pretty cool. I like to add like deluxe editions or the big box stuff because it's harder to find in the future. This one will be staying sealed. And so I picked the one that up at GameStop. I actually pre-ordered that one. And then last one here is Hogwarts Legacy. I know that has a pretty big issue with that or thing. I don't really care about any of that. I don't care what your political aspirations or your political ideas or where you stand in politics. I'm not actually going to say what I do as far as politics, but no matter what kind of politics, we're all the same race. We all live in the same US of A, and we just need to live and understand each other and live together type of thing. So that's all for PlayStation. I will get right into the Xbox. Oh, I actually kind of doing it a little bit different. I usually kind of do the bigger items before I do the games, but I'm just kind of doing all systems. And let me see here. I will actually, this is not associated with any system, but I will kind of talk about it right now. I'm not quite sure, maybe this is a Nintendo thing. It's Fire Emblem's Warriors, and it's this kind of cardboard box. I picked this up at a thrift store, and I can't remember, it must have been like $3-4, but it's actually like picture cards in here. So it's not the actual game itself, but it's associated with the game. So, and like I said, I do know that Fire Emblem is on Nintendo. I don't remember if it's exclusive to Nintendo or not. You can certainly let me know down in the comments if it is, so that I can know that. But this was just a fun thing to pick up and add to the collection. And then I'll get into Xbox here. Of course, you guys know that I am working on the original Xbox. I did get a few games that I'm adding to the collection in regards to that. And I'll actually just do the Platinum hits at the end. First one here is Hummer Badlands. Looks like I need to take care of some sticker residue there. MotoGP. R Racing Evolution. Evil Dead Regeneration. Picked that up at a swap. Shark Tale Platinum Hits. Now this last game I'm going to do a little story on. It's actually a pretty interesting story and fun story. So, let me show you what the game is, and then I'll kind of explain what happened with getting this game. So, it is Tom Clancy's Classic Trilogy Platinum Hits. So, this has a total of 3 different games in this case, and in this game. So, cool thing about it is that I had picked up this game, or this case, with... oh boy, I'm trying to remember now. I have 2 of the 3 games. And on my way to go to MGC this year, I was staying at a friend's house. And here I was walking through this house because I stayed at his house before we left, so that it was easy to kind of get going in the morning and get to Milwaukee. And as I was walking through his house and he was kind of showing me, it was the first time I'd been there. And this same case was sitting kind of out, and he had no clue that I had 2 of the 3 games. And so when I saw it, I was like, huh, that's interesting. And what happened was I grabbed it and opened it, and here the game that was in the case at my friend's house was the 3rd game that I was missing. And so I was like, is this for sale? And he said, well, not at this time, because he didn't have it for his own collection, and it wasn't complete. So I told him that I had the other 2 games, and so he was like, well, would you sell the 2 games to him so that he could complete it? But he also knows that I'm going for the original Xbox collection. So we kind of talked a little bit more about it, and I think we even talked a little bit more about it at MGC, or at least maybe on the way there and maybe on the way back. I don't remember, that aspect of it, but anyway, it was funny because what ended up happening is we ended up keeping our own copies. So he kept the 1 case with the 1 game, I kept the 1 case with the 2 games, and of course, if you put all 3 of the games together, it makes 1 complete game. So a couple weeks go by after MGC, and he reaches out and he says, guess what I found? And I said, what? Because we, of course, let each other know of, pickups that we get and that kind of stuff and things. And so this was, I think, through Facebook Messenger. And so he sent me a picture of, this. And so I was, this case. And then he said, I found a complete copy. So that means that he had his own complete copy, and then he had the case that had just a single game in it. And so the next swap that we did together, he actually brought me the case that he had and gave me the, case with the 3rd game that I needed. And I didn't even realize, but he gave me 2 games in here. So he must have just grabbed the ones that he needed and, gave me the other ones. So one of these will be able to complete 1 of my games. And I may have this all backwards. Maybe I have 1 of the 3 games and he had 2 of the 3 games. But anyway, it would all worked out because it was the game that was missing out of my case that he had. So that means that I'm able to complete my copy, and then I'll have just an extra case with the cover art and manual. And so pretty funny and great story to kind of that it happened to be the 1 game that I needed, and that was the 1 game that he had, type of thing. So anyway, very fun in regards to that, and it's crazy how kind of things work out. Crazy how small the world is, and how things work out as far as completing games and that kind of stuff. So, all right, continuing on here to the 360, I did pick up Zuma's Revenge. I think that was at a thrift store. And I'm kind of surprised I didn't have this one, but maybe I don't have this bonus content. It's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Gold Edition, and then it's got the bonus content. it's odd, you know, it's crazy that they have so many different versions of games, especially Call of Duties. So I think I do need that one. And then the next one here is Nat Geo. It's a Kinect game. And then another Kinect game, UFC Trainer, or Personal Trainer. Looks like you got a sticker on the back to take care of there. Now this game I really enjoyed on the NES, and they remade it on the Xbox 360, and I heard that it's not anywhere as good, and that's Bionic Commando. Now looking at the gameplay on the back, it actually looks like it's pretty fun. It is like a third-person kind of view, but I'm guessing it's just not, you know, the classic, you know, Bionic Commando on the NES. I really enjoyed that game growing up, playing it. Both my brother and I played it quite a lot, and we got pretty good at it. I know it's a pretty tough game. I haven't played it in the longest time, but I should play that and see if I'm still as good as I used to be. I'm probably not, so because I haven't played it for a while. All right, last couple of games here. Top Spin 3. Pretty sure I picked that up at a swap for cheap. And Borderlands Double Game Add-on Pack. Now, this is not technically a game, I don't think. And I'm pretty sure I picked this up at a thrift store, so it wasn't very much. But just fun things like that to add to the collection is always great. All right, and then I do have some Xbox One games. And let's see here. First one here is, and these are all sealed. First one here is Williamson NBA 2K21. These are all likely from, you know, Target or Walmart clearance. Sea of Thieves Anniversary Edition. I think this one actually has some value to it. And then F1 22. And then the cross-gen edition of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. They redid those. And then I did actually pick up a pretty sweet controller for the Xbox, which I really enjoy this one. It's for Doom Dark Ages. Just the style of it is really, really cool. I am going to keep this one sealed. I did pick it up, you know, of course, for full price at a Target or a Walmart. I can't remember which one I picked it up at, but it was, you know, full price, you know, I think $75 or $80. But I just thought that was a really cool looking controller, so that's why I picked it up. So, all right, and then continue on with actually some a little bit bigger items. Now, I've brought this up before in some of my other videos that I have a neighbor that I will often, especially during the summer, will often help them out with mowing their lawn. And they have given me games in the past. You'll have to check out one of my videos that actually has a lawnmower in the, as you know, the thumbnail. So that was the first time that he had actually given me games for helping him with mowing his lawn. And he's done it a few other times. And I'm actually thinking of maybe putting a little icon of a lawnmower in like the thumbnail of the videos that I get, you know, items from my neighbor. And so this is one of those videos. So he, one time I was, you know, just about done with mowing his lawn, and he got home from wherever he was, and he came out and, you know, kind of said hi to me, and, you know, we chatted a little bit, and then he said, well, I have a complete in box Sega game, Sega system. Would you like that? And I said, oh, sure. I don't think I have very many of them, and I think I have one, and it's not the same model as the one that he had. So he was like, okay, I'll go and grab it. So he did, and it came with more controllers than it should have, of course, which makes sense because he has brothers and that kind of stuff. So they would have needed multiple to play, you know, games that had 2 or 3 players to them. But one cool thing that he had, along with what he was going to be giving me, is this multi-tap. And I had no clue that Sega even had a multi-tap for the Genesis. And he said that it's not very common to find these. And I don't think it's worth very much. I mean, it's worth a little bit of money, but nothing crazy. But I had no clue that Sega even had this. So you'll have to comment down below if you like grew up with one of these. But I, you know, of course knew like the, you know, PlayStation 1 had the multi-tap. I think that was probably the most common, you know, one that was needed growing up type of thing. And the PS2 had one, and I growing up having the TurboGrafx, I knew that there was one for that, but I never knew that there was one for Sega. But then again, I didn't grow up with any Sega consoles either, so that was really cool to get from my neighbor. And then, like I was just talking about, he gave me the completed box Sega, and this is a Model 1, I think. Boy, I can't even remember. I'm sure I'll get roasted in the comments, but this is the Sonic 2 system, and it doesn't actually have Sonic 2 in it. It has, I think, columns, if I remember correctly, but it's easy enough to find a Sonic 2 that I can throw in there. I'll have to find a not-for-resale copy, and then, so yeah, I got that. It's complete. It has the cardboard and everything. The box isn't in the greatest shape. It's got, looks like some waviness to it, and of course some wear on the corners. It's certainly understandable with it being from the 80s. It's not everything's going to be pristine, but it's actually in pretty decent shape. So, always fun to add Genesis stuff to the collection. Like I said, I didn't grow up with the Genesis, so always fun to add that kind of stuff to the collection, and because I never had any of it. So, all right, getting into Nintendo, and as you probably know, June was the release date for was the release of the Switch 2. I did a pre-order from GameStop, so this is a little bit different than the other ones that I've seen at like Target and Walmart for the Mario Kart World Edition. So this one actually has a sticker, where the other ones have the graphic in the actual box itself. So this one might be a little bit harder to find in the future. I would actually like to get, of course, me being the collector, I would like to get the other variants for, having the actual artwork for it, and then even a base model as well. I haven't quite picked up any more. This is the only one that I picked up. At this time, I haven't opened it yet either. So I'm still kind of deciding if I want to or not. It would be, of course, very cool to have a sealed copy, especially of this variant of the Mario World bundle in my collection. I'm sure there's going to be other people that are going to be doing that as well, but it will still be pretty sweet to do that. So I'm kind of leaning towards what I did with the PS5 and keeping it sealed, and then pick up one in the future as well. But thing is that they're coming out with some pretty decent games that I've been wanting to play. Mario Kart World is one of them. I was never big into Mario Kart 8, but of course there's a ton of people that really love it. I think I played it a few times, but nothing like a long time, and with like at a party type of thing, and playing with a bunch of my friends. But something that I've been thinking about, of course, wanting to play, because I've seen other YouTubers and friends that have really enjoyed Mario Kart World. And then I don't think it was this month that I'm doing the June 2025 this pickup video for, but I have already picked up the Donkey Kong Bonanza, and so of course that one's still sealed at this point too, because I haven't opened up the Switch yet. But I did pick up, since I've been talking about that, I will go through quickly my Switch 2 games that I've picked up so far. Now, I picked up a couple of these from launch, and then a couple of the other, bunch of the others I picked up at like a Target, or I think all the rest of them were at Target. So at launch, I did pick up Raydu, I believe is how you pronounce that one. And then I did pick up another one that was, so this was one of the cheaper ones at launch. I did pick up another cheaper one that was from GameStop as well. When I did the pre-order for the system, I pre-ordered 2 games. That was one of the games. The other one, unfortunately, was actually a digital copy code only, so I didn't actually get the actual physical game, which was pretty disappointing. I thought that all the games were going to be, having physical copies. But when I, of course, went to buy it, the GameStop guys, he printed out the receipt and said, oh, this game is a digital code only, which, of course, I was disappointed, but of course still bought it. So then these other ones I did, like I said, picked up at, I want to say all 4 of them I picked up at Target. Split Fiction, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, And then, oddly enough, I did actually pick up a copy of Mario Kart World, a physical copy separate from the bundle. And those will all stay sealed so that I'll have that in the collection. And excuse me here. So I've already added 5 games to my Switch 2, 6 if you consider the printout digital copy for the 6th one. I don't even remember what the name of it was. I suppose I could go get the receipt. I still have it, of course. But anyway, I'll get back into the other games here. So I'll just kind of do my normal, start with the oldest and then go towards the newest. I just kind of talked about the Switch 2 because, that was something that was for this month. And I went right in from the Genesis to the Switch 2, and then so I talked about the Switch 2 games. Alright, so I think I've mentioned this already with the couple of Switch games that I had that was doubles. I did pick up a Switch Lite at a garage sale, and it did have, so this is opened and used. And so, oddly enough, my gray copy that I have sealed is one from Japan. So this is, a US version, which is, nice to have. So that was pretty sweet to grab. And then along with that, I did have the 2 games that I had previously. One of them was a sealed Pokemon game, and then it was, I think, a Mario game. I can't recall what it was. It's in a stack over there. But it did have a couple more games here. And I think it was just these 2. So it did also come with a loose copy of Mario Golf. And I didn't have that for my collection. So that will be going in my collection. Unfortunately, it's loose. But then I also got Pokemon Shining Pearl. And this is loose as well, but it's in a case from GameStop. But I do have a sealed copy of that. I also have a sealed copy of Mario Golf. But these will, of course, be ones that I can play. And then I don't think I got this last game at that same garage sale. But I'm, I suppose, kind of going in backwards order here. So, but it's Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy. I want to say I actually got that, not at the same garage sale, but somewhere else, but I don't recall where it was. So, actually, I just realized, looking at the stuff that I still need to go through, there was a couple of Switch 2 stuff that I didn't go through, so I'll just do that real quick here, since I'm talking about the Switch and the Switch 2. When I did the pre-order at GameStop, they threw in a free screen protector. So I got that. And then I also did pick up a Pro controller for the Switch 2, which this one will stay sealed. And I will eventually, when I get the actual Switch 2 to play with, I'll get another Pro controller. Now, cool thing about the Switch 2 is that you can use the old Pro controllers with the new Switch 2. You have to sync it a little bit differently. I think it's not quite as user-friendly as far as syncing it. I don't know if it will still turn on and off the system like you can with the Switch and the Pro controller there, but I'll have to look into that and see if I want to just use the Pro controller that I have for my own Switch and use that on the Switch 2, or if I'll probably eventually just get another Pro controller for the Switch 2. Alright, so kind of going back and forth here, and I apologize for that. I usually like to kind of go in order, but I'll just still jump around here. I did pick up some Amiibo. Now this, I think these came out, around when the Switch 2 came out, which is kind of strange, but it was likely because they came out with the new version for the Switch 2 of Tears of the Kingdom. But I did pick up all the Amiibos for Tears of the Kingdom. So I got Tulin, Unobo, Poseidon, and then Riju. Alright, so those are all the Amiibos, and I'll get back to the games here. So now I will go kind of with older to newer, oldest to newest. So I did pick up Freedom Force on the original NES from a thrift store. Did kind of pay up for that one. And then at the same thrift store, I think it was a different time, I did pick up Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. It looks like it's got a sticker on the back. And then I did pick up, I don't remember where I picked this up. This might have been at a Goodwill. And I probably got, if I did get it from Goodwill, I got it for free because I never pay for empty cases. But this is Speed Racer, the video game, and it's missing the game and maybe the manual. Yeah, it looks like it's missing the manual as well. But those are always nice to get because more than times than not, if you like buy games at a garage sale, they'll be loose as far as DS and 3DS, because people typically will take them out of the case, put them in their carrying case with the system itself, and then throw these in the trash. So actually that kind of goes with, actually no, this one's in here. It was that one that was empty, and then I did get a 3DS game, which is the Crows. Or Crudes. So, I'm sure I'll get flack and comments in regards to that as well. So, alright, and then I did pick up some GameCube games. So this was actually pretty fun. Actually, I'll do this one first. This one I got at a Goodwill. No, I'm sorry, not a Goodwill, a GameStop. And I didn't realize it until I think I had already purchased it. It's Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. I do already have a player's choice of this, but I didn't have the regular black label copy. But unfortunately, the spine is sun faded, so I don't know if you can actually catch that in the video or not. But I'll of course have to be on the lookout for a better copy of that. Of course, the front is in decent shape, but the spine is pretty rough in regards to that. So kind of disappointed in that, and that I didn't catch that. Otherwise, I probably would have bought it. But anyway, it's nice to, of course, still add it, and then, of course, get it upgraded or later on type of thing. So, all right, so these next GameCube games, I'll just tell you a little story about the garage sale that I went to. So I showed up to a garage sale. It's actually in the next town over, and you know, looked around, didn't see a single video game, and so of course I did what I usually do and ask. And the mother was out working the garage sale, and she went in. I can't remember if she like went in and got her son or texted him or whatever, or maybe he was just coming outside to be with his mom. But she said, "Oh, don't you have any old video games that you want to get rid of?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I do." So I, oddly enough, he let me inside the house, and I walked up the stairs, took my shoes off, of course, went up the stairs, and here he opened up like a entertainment center and pulled out a drawer, and it was all GameCube. There must have been 30 GameCube games, in this one drawer, and I was in my head just like gold mine type of thing. And then he pushed it back in and then pulled out a second one. Same thing, 30 GameCube games. Maybe not quite 30, but it was a lot. And so then he pushed that one in and pulled the third one out, and same thing, 30 GameCube games, or however many there were. So there were 3 drawers of GameCube games that he was like saying that he was willing to sell. So I was like, okay, do you? I said, do you want to do like a bundle deal? And he's like, "Oh, well, they're not all for sale. You'll have to let me know which ones you want, and then I'll tell you if they're for sale or not." And he said a couple of other things. I can't remember. I think he said stuff like, if it's like that games that are only on the GameCube, he wanted to keep. So if they were exclusives, he wanted to keep them. And then he also said something along the lines of, if they were popular games, I think is what he said, that he would want to keep those as well too. And so as I was going through, I was kind of surprised that he agreed to at least one of the games here, maybe a second one. But it was just so weird because I had to almost go through every single game. I was like, "Oh, how's this one?" And he's like, "No, I want to keep that one. No, I want to keep this one." And then, so finally I got these 5 games, and we I was like, okay, I'll take these. And we didn't talk about price at all throughout this whole thing. And so as I was going back down in the house and to the door, I was like, well, that's when I brought up the amount. And I said, well, what did you want for these? And he said, well, I was thinking, no, he said, I think he told me I should come up with the price first, which I hate to do. Of course, most resellers and people looking for good deals don't ever want to say the first amount because they don't want to be too high and then the person gets more money than they were expecting. But with the 4 games, of course, I'll show you them. I said, no, there's 5 games here. I said $40. He said, oh, that's way too low. So he said, then how about $60? And I said, well, can we meet in the middle and we do 50? And she's like, no, I'm sticking with 60. So I had to get these for $60. So they're not crazy expensive or crazy deal. I think didn't spend as much as what they're worth type of thing. And of course you'll see the games once I get in there, but I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping, of course, for a little bit less. $40 would have been sweet, but of course, GameCube games are going up in price type of thing. So I'll just get right into it here. NHL 2005. I know it's Nickel Fritz, but still actually has a little bit of value. And then actually talk about this one and have it last here. And then I have Scooby-Doo Unmasked. So that was one of them that I was kind of surprised at the amount. So that's more than what I paid for it. And then this one was one that he was like him and Han if he wanted to keep it or not. And he said something along the lines of that it was worth like $40 or something like that. And I was like, I think I gave him kind of a weird look when he said that. And it's From Russia with Love, and it's definitely not worth $40. But I think it's worth like 15 or something like that, if even that. And so I don't know what he was looking up, because when I was going through the games and grabbing what I was wanting, I think he was on his phone. He must have been like on Amazon is my guess. And he was looking up the games on Amazon. So of course Amazon's going to be higher than what they are, for sold listings on eBay. So, and then the next one here is King Arthur, based off of the movie, which I thought was actually a pretty decent movie. Nothing crazy, but it was still a pretty fun one. And then the last one here, this is one I was very surprised that he was willing to sell, which is Metro Prime, the first one. And this is a player's choice. I didn't have player's choice in my collection, so that was, of course, sweet to add. But he was saying that he wasn't wanting to get rid of popular games, and Metroid Prime was pretty popular, so I'm surprised that he gave that one up. So, of course, I got pretty decent deal. Not as good as I usually like, but he was happy with the $60, of course. All right, and then the last few Wii games here and one Wii U. I have Avatar: The Last Airbender, Cabela's Adventure Camp. Pretty sure I picked that up at a thrift store. I think these last two, I don't recall where I picked them up, but they are sealed. And the first one here is Generator Rex. And then the last one is Nickel Fritz, Truth or Lies. But oddly enough, they, like I said, they're both sealed. So always fun to add sealed games to the collection. I want to say I maybe already have the games open, so fun to add sealed ones. And then this last one is also sealed. It's for the Wii U, and that's Brunswick Pro Bowling. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I picked up this one at a swap. And this one's not worth very much, with it being a Wii U game, and it's sealed. Like I said, not worth much, but it is what it is. So that is it, everyone. Thank you for sticking around to the end here. I think this is a little bit shorter than my other videos, at least the last couple that I put out. But thank you for sticking around to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know a lot of my viewers are not subscribers, but that's perfectly fine with me, as long as you at least like the video. That helps immensely for the channel to get it out there on YouTube to help more viewers see it. And please, if you're watching any YouTube video, even if it's not me, please like the videos that you're watching. It's usually pretty easy, depending on how you're watching it. If you're on your phone, it's usually pretty easy to hit that like button. if you're, you know, watching it through like Apple TV or through your TV itself, it's usually just a couple of clicks and you like the video. That helps all creators to get their videos out, and I pretty much like every single video that I watch, even if I'm not a subscriber, and just to help out that to content creators. So thank you everyone for sticking around, and God bless.